Kokanee, tricks and tips. Secret corn brine for bigger Kokanee. Shasta Whiskey Town custom ride giveaways. Free prizes for everyone who attends. January 17th at noon. International Sportsman Show in Sacramento.
Well, it is Thursday. It is Real Talk with Kevin Brock at
7 o'clock. Hey, so glad to be here, my friend Stoney. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's everything going? Welcome, everybody. We are back. It's Thursday, and you're here to see Kevin and not me.
Man, lots to go over. Oh, no, they're here to see you too, because if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't see me, and they wouldn't, it all works together. So they really wanted to see the May dog over here. But, yeah, hi, May. Probably just finishing up some dinner there, having a little bit of barbecue duck and some sweet potatoes. That was good. That was real good. But what a great week. We're on this foggy Thursday evening, and we're not calling in Rudolph yet, but it's getting close. I mean, it's getting that time of year where it is just a blanket of fog over here, but people are still fishing. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Talk about what happened this last week, where we were at, what you were doing, what I was doing, a few topics of discussions, things like that. So we're excited to be here. We thank you, everybody. We're going to talk about some of the lakes, local lakes. Berryessa is still on fire, Collins Lake, things like that, on what people are using. We're going to tell a few stories. We're going to just cruise on back. So just kick back and enjoy. And we appreciate all of you because that's what makes this work. Stoney, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Man, how are you doing? How'd your podcast go Monday night? Let's talk about that a little bit. You had catfish going on, catfish tournaments. You had all kinds of things last week. How did that end up for you?
So we wrapped up the Catfish Bash. The last championship took place on Saturday, and the Old Farts fishing team ended up in 5th place for the season. So can't complain about that. It's 6 tournaments throughout the year, and we had some wins, some losses. We pretty much were kind of consistent, but there was probably, I think, 39 teams that had fished. Not all of those fished every tournament. But I would say half of those, there was probably 20, 25 teams that competed all year, consistently. They had 15 teams in the championship. I think we ended up in like 9th for that day, but overall for the season ended up 5th. So I was pretty happy with where we finished. And on my podcast Monday, we had some healthy discussions and went over all the details. But the one hot topic, and not that we're going to dive into it here, but hot topic is forward-facing sonar in fishing tournaments, and we're starting to see a lot of people ban that technology in bass and crappie, and a lot of heated discussion about it in catfishing. And we're kind of see what's going to happen and see where those chips fall. But a lot of good discussion. I know we're going to continue it next week on my podcast, and I might pull in some catfish experts that are going to hopefully join. I'm trying to get that solidified, but I got a big hitter in the industry that's going to come in and talk about his thoughts on it. But yeah, catfishing is kind of getting interesting out here in California.
Well, that's pretty awesome. You've created this little niche, and I want to say that what's cool about this is, kokanee fishing and things like that. We'll talk about that a little bit, and here coming up. And but the kokanee fishing was never really even a thing there for a long time. And some of the old time founders came along and started producing products and different things. And I mean, years ago, it was just a wedding ring. And if you caught a kokanee here and there, that was cool. And there were some in the lakes, but they really started planting them a lot, started doing a lot. And now kokanee is a big thing. In fact, we'll be talking about it at the International Sportsman's Expo on Saturday. January, what is that? 16th, I believe. Yes. Somewhere right around there. If that's a Saturday, I don't have my calendar in front of me, but something like that. But forward-facing sonar. Now, is that different than backward-facing sonar?
No,
it's all the same.
Well, it's the new, the live scope and 360 imaging, and
I
There's
know, I know.
yeah, it's all kinds of. Everybody calls it something different.
I'm giving you a bad time.
Yeah.
You know, for years I learned how to fish out of a drift boat, and that was reading the water, looking the holes, and where you caught the fish is where you found them. Yeah, there might have been a bunch of fish there, but if they weren't biting, it didn't matter anyway. Um,
Right.
and then I started fishing out of power boats, and probably, oh, I want to say 97, 96, something like that. And we had Lowrance had an X85, and it was a black and white screen. And it was about yay big, not much bigger than my cell phone nowadays. And you could get it all adjusted right, and man, you could see, you drop it down off the back, and you see your sinker go down and hit the bottom if you were back bouncing for salmon. And really, all I used it for back then was just to tell me what the bottom looked like.
Right.
Where am I at? Am I going over a big snag? Hey, we're going over a big snag, guys. Everybody reel them up real fast so you didn't lose all your lures, things like that. But it was fishing. It was trial and error. Then we went to bigger screens. Then we went to side imaging. Now, that was pretty cool. Guys would be going down river and see a school of stripers off the side. I mean, literally, they're going down to another spot. All of a sudden, there it is, and they'd pull over and wheel over, drop their lines in, and start catching fish. Pretty dang cool. So we end up in Lake Texoma, and I'm fishing with some striper guides up there, and they've got their sonar right on the bottom. It doesn't work as good on aluminum, but it's cut in the bottom of the fiberglass of the boat. A lot of ocean guys use it, so you can be going 40 miles an hour, and it's giving you the full reading. It's not getting turbulence and stuff by the motor out of a transom, say like a transom.
Right.
Transducer does. We're going along to another spot. All of a sudden, the captain says a few choice words, and man, he just shuts the motor down. He's like, "Look at this." And we're in 60 foot of water, but it's saying that it's 20. I mean, there's stripers stacked from 40 foot down. He hits spot lock. He drops his electric motor down. We commence, there's 6 of us on the boat, plus him. We commence to catching 70 stripers. Boom, 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 boom. Limit everybody out. Head back to the barn. That piece of equipment made us, A, successful, and B, help the captain out. It's a great tool. We're still abiding by fish and game laws, fish and game regulations, not keeping more than our limits, this and that. So we come into the guiding situation. Well, a lot of with a salmon having live scope, I have it, is pretty cool because you can watch the fish. But sometimes, I don't know, man. Sometimes I get frustrated with it because I see them and then they're not biting, or I'm like, why aren't they biting? And, we're rolling through, and you're using the screen more than your brain, meaning I'm not changing over. Now, some of the younger guys, some of the younger guns, man, they use it really well. I think they're used to it a little bit more. I'm not as much. So I go back and forth. Is it cool to watch a salmon come up and eat your plug, or a big old rotator flasher and you see the salmon come up in the screen, chomp on your bait? It's way cool. It's super cool. I'll see him come up, and then I'll be like yelling at the screen, bite it, bite it, bite it. And the client's just like, what? I'm like, bite it. But then you have that day where they're refusing everything that morning or whatever, and they're not biting it. And you're just like pulling your hair out. You forget to enjoy the day with your clients. You're so intense by staring at the screen. I have to be careful with myself. This is me I'm talking about. I'm not talking about everybody else. Everybody else has their own stuff. But for me, sometimes I'd rather turn it off. Just because. If I'm fishing and fish, I know they're there. I'm going to figure it out. Are they biting different colors? I'm going to switch over. Sometimes you switch too fast when you have the live scope. Tournaments. Now, I'm getting paid for the day no matter what. So I'm getting paid for the experience and catching fish, and people are coming back because consistently we catch fish, right? You can't be a guide and not consistently catch fish. That's how it goes. But you show up and your equipment's ready and your boat's ready, and they get the experience of the day. So you're telling a few stories, you're doing this, you're doing that. And some of the great guides are great storytellers too, along with being good fishermen. Because no one wants to be with a grouch all day. That's no fun. So I'm getting paid whether I use live scope or not. If it helps me catch more fish, of course I'm going to use it in some places. Now, moving forward to the lakes, tournaments. The guys who are using that forward sonar, there's big controversy against this in the bass world, especially right now, because there's guys that have got this so dialed in and they're good fishermen. They know what they're doing. They're going through like, no, I'm not fishing that cove. They're not even fishing.
Right.
They're like cruising fast. Zoom, zoom, zoom. They're not like figuring it out, right? But it's not against the rules. This isn't a bad thing. And they show up. Oh, boom, there they are. I found them in the cove. Boom, they're catching them right away. So the top leaderboards, guys on the leaderboard and Bassmasters, things like that, what they're saying is almost all of them use it. It's changed the game. Where before, where you just go over those fish or be out in 50 foot of water or not even know where they're at, all of a sudden, boom, they're stopping out in no man's land because there's a big old huge school of shad and all the bass are underneath it. The fish are getting released. So we're not hurting the fish that way. We're not wiping out a fishery. But is it fair to the college guy who is on the college bass team? He's a good fisherman. He's talented, but they don't have the $5,000 to put down on everything for their bass boat. But then you got a guy that comes in that's got everything, and he's able to be better, and he's not talented when it comes to actually the fishing part. Bottom line, they still catch the fish. You still have to catch it. It still has to bite. It still has to be hooked. There's all kinds of arguments. People are thinking all different things right now like crazy because of this. Guiding, no one's going to stop it. Personal fishing, no one's going to stop it. But it has to be an equal playing field. You got the minor leagues, you got the major leagues, you've got the steps that you have to go up to. You don't have everybody, playing baseball together. So what do you do on the tournaments? You want people to go. It's still fun, but the guys that don't have it now feel like they're getting beat because they don't have it.
Correct.
So why would you go and join the tournament if you feel like you're going to never win? You can't win because the guys who have it every time. It's a combination. So what do we do? Have tournaments had live scope banned? Yes, they have. They sure have. To keep it equal. Guy comes in, buys all the stuff. He's doing it for he's doing it for a retirement or just because he always wanted to be and he had the money to do it. He was successful in something else. He's got all the gear. Bass bite. Catfish bite. You guys are finding that out. It's not like they're leader shy. It's not like they're big. You figure it out, which there's a lot to figure out. I'm not discounting catfishing at all. You figure it all out. Bam, you're catching them. They're biting.
Right.
You're whacking them. Striper fishing. When you find them, they're biting. Whether I'm using a 10-pound test leader or 15-pound test leader, I'm using 1 ounce or half ounce. I put a minnow or a mudsucker down there, he's biting it. Whether I'm using a number 2 hook or a 1/0 hook, it's you're just catching. You're getting them. So how does that make it equal to everyone else? Don't know. Some guys got faster boats. Well, he got to the spot faster than I did. Some guys, so where do you stop? Where do you stop? And that's the question right there.
And I think that's the key is where do you stop, right?
You just say, okay, fine. For catfish this year. We're not using, you know, live scope. See what happens.
So here's my take on it when it comes to catfishing, and I'm really involved in the Catfish Bash, which is a series that goes on at Clear Lake. And if I go back to the roots of what this started, one thing you said to me that kind of resonated right now is you got the farm league and you got the major leagues, right? I look at what we're doing in the Catfish Bash is, if I were to put a label on it, it's a farm league. It's a way for people to get into catfishing. You want to go have fun. You want to go out there and learn, so you can do the 2-day pro style tournaments. We structured this kind of like a pro tournament, but it's not a pro tournament. It's a let's get together, let's have fun, let's go out there. And when people stop having fun, and you have certain teams that may dominate with, because they have more money to throw at it, the little guy that wants to get into it, that can't afford all this stuff, is kind of left out. And that kind of takes away from what we started with, it to have fun. And it used to be bigger. We've had up to 40 boats in this at one time. I think that 39 boats in one of the tournaments, and the numbers have been falling for various different reasons. I mean, just like anything competitive, and I've done a lot of things competitive, from car racing to little league to barbecue competitions. And what I found is, anytime you have money involved in something, it changes. And I'm not accusing anybody of cheating, but you've seen it all over the internet with people putting weights in fish and doing things because there's money involved. So tournament directors have got to come up with ways to kind of protect that a little bit, and protect the integrity of the tournament, as well as making it to what the people want. And if the people want to come out and have fun, and that's what you're targeting, then I think some precautions and things need to be put in place. Do you do what you said? You have one tournament that allows it, one that doesn't, or you just ban it altogether. But where does it stop, right? I think personally that side scan is a much more powerful tool to me. I can't figure mine out, but if I can, and I will, it's going to give me an advantage, because now I know how to use it. And I can see those fish, and I can go back and target them or make adjustments. And like you said, the biggest frustration I have is I see the marks. I see my sonar, my down scan, and I know those fish. And you learn the characteristics of what's a bass, what's a catfish, and it's just so frustrating when they're not hitting. They're there,
No doubt
and you
about
can't
it.
catch it.
No
But
doubt about it. But the key thing there is, I mean, over this whole thing, the key thing there is they're having fun.
yes,
All right. Bottom line, the key thing is having fun. And like you said, I love fishing tournaments. I fished tournaments in high school. I won some bass tournaments, but I was pretty dang competitive and cocky and arrogant. And so I was going after it. But it was because I thought I was a good fisherman. And then, I get into a few tournaments where the pros come in and they just spank me.
right,
I hadn't been on the water. I thought I could just go cast somewhere. They know A, B, C, where to go. I'm like, dude, I'm not even in the right league.
right,
It's a humbling thing. The catfish thing, it's not in California, it's not a multi-million-dollar industry
no,
yet.
yet,
So, and it may get there at that point. There may be bigger catfish planted in different lakes and stuff and trying them out. But, you got your own little niche over there, which is pretty cool. You're catching 20 to 30 pound catfish consistently. That's amazing. That's awesome. Where can you go catch a big old fish like that? You get salmon in the river. So you're uncovering a lot of things. But that tournament, there's got to be laughs, and there's got to be the poker run, and there's got to be the gag gift, and there's got to be the blind bogey,
yep,
and there's got to be that kind of stuff. Sure, will the guy who did well catch the most? I mean, I fished tournaments where by myself I've won out of 400 guys, and then where I thought I knew it all, I placed zero. I got skunked one time on one tournament. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was all cocky and had it dialed, and conditions changed, and I was stubborn and frustrated, and I stuck with my plan. Anyway, point being is, once it gets to that point, like you said, people stop having fun. So what is the goal of the tournament? What is the goal of the lake tournament? What is the goal of the catfish tournament, the striper tournament, the catfish tournament, the trout tournament. What is the goal of that? To get everybody out there and get them fishing. We're not saving lives here.
We're not
You
going to get
know,
rich.
we're not going to get rich. We're going out there what? To have a good time.
Right.
And if you're so thinking that you're hot stuff, and I mean, I fish a lot. If you think you're top dog, then jump into the pro elite. Go out there, get in that walleye tour, the catfish tour, or the crappie tour, or the bass tour. You go see what it takes. Go see what it takes to be on top all the time. It ain't no joke.
Right.
It ain't no joke. So those guys, I mean, there's the same thing. Those guys, 90%, probably 95% of the bass guys who pay the tournament are paying the 5% who make it.
Yeah. And what's happening at Clear Lake? You got the Catfish Bash, which is a 6 tournament series. You got the Channel Cat Classic, which is a 2-day pro style tournament. With some big money. They've got $8,000 guaranteed first place. And that's coming up, I believe, in April. And so, this is raising a lot of attention, and these tournament directors are going to need to figure this out and figure out what is the right call. Do you ban it? Do you not ban it? And by making those decisions, how does it impact what your end goal is? Guys want to enter to win money, obviously, but they also want to enter and have a good time. And this is the challenge that these guys have. And in California, in the catfish world, do these guys want to wait to see what everybody else does, or do they want to be a leader in the industry and say, here's what we're going to do? And that's yet to be seen. So we'll see where it all falls.
Well, and we'll let people know as we go along.
Absolutely.
But pretty cool. But it is cool to watch live scope and watch a fish eat your bait. Hands down, super cool. Yeah, that part is cool. I do like that. Yeah, because that's pretty neat. But you feel like you're staring at that screen so much sometimes, just willing them to bite. But like even up at Gold Beach and other places when we're trolling and stuff, I see those fish. Yeah, they're on the bottom. Everybody's on the bottom, and it's moss down there. And then all of a sudden, I'm up 10 feet, but the fish that are biting are up. Right. So we're keeping them up. We got to keep it up. And so it's just this. So it's a tool that definitely helps.
Absolutely.
For that situation.
So stay tuned and see what happens with this as it progresses, not just in our world as far as catfishing, but across the nation as more and more people are getting on this bandwagon of, is it an unfair advantage? Is it not? And I think, with technology as a whole, right, things are getting better. AI is coming. As soon as you know it, there's going to be AI in fishing, and somehow it's going to impact you and make it, a really good competitive edge, and that'll be the next thing people are complaining about. And so,
it already has in the social media part. People are throwing it in there, and now it's like, well, what do we believe? What do we don't believe? What are we seeing? What are we not seeing? So these cool things we used to post and get, hundreds of thousands of views. Now, yeah, it's kind of cool and it's kind of funny for now, but now it's kind of, I would say, tainting it, because now it's like, well, that's just AI. I'm holding this big old salmon, this world record steelhead, let it go high vibe. And I was like, oh, that's just AI.
And I'm guilty of that hugely. If you guys follow me,
we're jumping in. It's just starting. I'm just saying we've done posts on my stuff. Yeah, your stuff, things like that. But I'm saying is, I think it's actually gonna be good, because then it's gonna separate the real from the fake. And then we're going to have to come out with something else. I always called it Fake Book anyway. And although we're on Facebook right now, live, but I always called it Fake Book, because it was just, taking up all my time. And I'm guilty. I jump right into it. I scroll. I text. I save. I save stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that one, but
you just swipe left, swipe right, look up,
look down. Yes, no. Visual. Oh man. Oh, that's good. What's hot? What's not? Huh? Lake Oroville bass fishing still really good. Guy over there from Bass Union in Oroville. He's catching a lot of nice bass, doing a lot of guiding. He's doing good over there. That's pretty awesome. Jumping over to Shasta, still on fire. Guys are catching fish over there. Trout fishing wise, Collins Lake, Berryessa's is still kicking out. Unbelievable good trout fishing right now. Get to Collins. In fact, I was talking with one of my clients the other day, and they live close to Collins and want to drive over there and fish. He's like, how do I do it? How do we do it right now? And I'm like, the old night crawler said, let's talk about that a little bit. I like to thread a night crawler on, and then you got stained water, so you can run 6-pound test on your leader just in case you hook a hog, you hook a 10-pounder. But, run 6-pound on your leader, run it all, 24 to 30 inches long. Now you can use if you're fishing off the bank, use an egg sinker and put a little swivel in between from your main line there so it stops it. But the key is to float that bait up. Now, use about a number 4 hook. I know everyone's like, oh, it's a big hook. Well, they're planting a lot of big fish over there in Collins. 6 or a 4, but I would not hesitate to use a 4 at all. And use a bait holder style hook. And why is that? It's easy to thread them on. So thread your night crawler all the way on. Get a worm thread or leave a tag out, whatever you want to do. And then pull it down and then roll you up some power bait. If you don't have any power bait, hook on a marshmallow. Yeah, those little marshmallows, mini marshmallows you put in your hot chocolate. Yeah, those ones. But power bait's a little better. Roll it up in a ball and then just put it over that hook. So now you got the hook covered with power bait and orange or chartreuse or some of your better colors in muddy water. And then you got your whole worm there. So, you got like the hi, May. How are you doing? Huh? What's going on? May came over to say hi to me. You want to say hi? You want a treat? Say hi to everybody, May. This is how you get a dog to get on air. That's it. See how good she is? Wow. Can you see her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, easy.
Just right there, top of her head.
See it? Now, you would think that she's just well-behaved and just does everything I ask. No, this is only because I have food in my hand, and she's a Labrador Retriever. Be easy. Easy. Oh, that was pretty good. All right. Now, May. So what you're doing is you're floating that night crawler up off the bottom, so it's not sitting on the bottom. The shad are just cruising. They're cold. The water's 50, 51 degrees, whatever it is. They're just cruising along, and it's cold. And it's sitting up there. So you got your power bait that smells good. They will find it. I would put my rod on a rod holder, and then if it's not windy, I leave my bail open. And then all of a sudden, he'll just grab it, chew on it, and then he'll just take off swimming. As he takes off swimming, all of a sudden, your lines are coming off the reel. Grab your rod, click it over, wait till it gets tight, and just do a sweeping hook set. Wait till it gets tight and just kind of sweep into it. And as you sweep, keep reeling. Because you got it tight. Boom, that'll put that hook right in the corner of the jaw. Make sure you got a sharp hook. You'll catch trout after trout after trout, and hopefully some big ones. So that's a little tip for Collins. That is just awesome. It's deadly. You can catch them on Rapalas. You can catch them on Castmasters, casting off the bank, trolling with those. You can catch them in boats. But, that power bait night crawler combination is money. And again, if you don't have power bait, just grab you a handful of, you can get power bait anywhere, but, you can't find the color you want. Again, orange or chartreuse. And it doesn't have to be glitter or, whatever, That's whatever, just as long as it smells good, that's fine. And then put that on there and let it soak. You don't have to cast a mile out there, just get it out there a ways. I recommend use like 8-pound on your main line. And then something that's soft, a soft line. Sunline makes a natural line that's super soft and super nice. Berkeley XL is another good one out there. It's all extra limp. And then, or super subtle. Line you can just cast out and the line won't have a lot of memory in it. So that works out really, really, really good. So Clear Lake is catfish. And then we drop down to Shasta and then Oroville, and the spotted bass is still real good there. Your streams are all closed, but your lake trout fishing is fantastic. Now, we had some guys come in to the tackle box the other day, and they were catching limits of steelhead still on the Feather River. They were buying some roe and getting some stuff there and some hooks for those fish there. So the Feather River is still kicking out a bunch of steelhead. Now, on January 1st, and we'll talk about this coming up, hopefully I'll be back by then, January 1st, the upper section, what they call the downtown bedrock section, from Highway 70 Bridge up to the fish hatchery opens up for steelhead.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of guys are fishing it. Lots of guys are there. Lots of fish are caught. A lot of fly fishing, spin fishing. Last year I caught just a dandy, like almost a 4.5, 5 pounder on a little Cleo. And so I love fishing those little Cleos, just letting them wobble through there. And pow, he grabbed it, jumped 3 or 4 times. It was a cool fight. So that was awesome. And that opens up January 1. So if you like steelhead fishing, if you like fly fishing and doing that, jump up there and do that. That's a cool place to go. Super cool place. Opens up once a year. New Year's Day. You know, as kids, teenagers, we'd stay out and party all night, ring in the New Year, but everybody else was passed out and stuff. And I'd drive down to Orville. Sometimes I wouldn't go to bed. You know, it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody else is fading out. I'd drive down there, sleep in the parking lot for a couple hours, so I was there, and then go down and fish. You know, I caught my very first steelhead down there.
Yeah.
Very first steelhead. Yeah, I want to say I don't remember the exact age because I was 12 when I caught my first salmon, and it took me about a year to get the drifting down and casting and all that and get the feel for it. And but I really wanted to get that dialed in. But I was 13 years old, fishing a night crawler. And I cast right by this limb, let it drift underneath, and it kind of stopped and went tug, tug, and I immediately thought, that's a steelhead. Set the hook, it comes cartwheeling out of the water, and, you know, 5 minutes later, I land my first one. So, you know, and the rest is what they call history. Poor little steelhead. But man, they sure are tasty. Tasty little critters. And don't forget to make sure you got your steelhead card for January 1, because your fishing license is whenever you buy it. It's good for a year, right? But your steelhead tag is annual. So you do have to have a 2026 steelhead card to be steelhead fishing down there.
So why did they like change it to where your fishing license is when you buy it, but everything else, why don't they do the same with that?
They just haven't caught up with it yet. That's all. You know, Steve Carson, I don't know if you know the name. He's worked for Penn. I've known him for almost 30 years because he lived in Chico. He used to write in the Chico ER, and I'd give him weekly reports, you know, and we'd write the fishing report in the Chico ER. He has been involved with helping write lots of litigation for Fish and Game, Fish and Wildlife now. And he was on the Fish and Game Commission. In fact, a lot of the Butte County, you know, the tickets that are written, the wardens get a certain percentage of that. And the money goes into a fund, and then it's voted on by the Fish and Game Commission, Fish and Wildlife now, on what those funds are. Do they need better binoculars? Do they need better radios, better laptops, whatever to help them, better spotting scope, help them do their job? And that's where that money would go. It's an awesome thing, awesome program. And Steve helped write the petition and all the part of the litigation and went through all the hoops to get it submitted to where when you bought your license, it was good for a year. Now that totally makes sense, right? Because on January 1, because it's a business, Fish and Wildlife would get this influx of what? License money. Everybody bought their license, right? So from January, they'd have a huge spike in money. Well, they were counting on that, and they were spending it before they had it. Imagine that, huh? So because every year we get umpteen thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even in the millions of dollars in sales, that money was already spent because that's what they got from license sales. If they were going to change it over to whatever month you bought it, it was good till the next year, that month, they would lose that cash flow in the beginning. So they fought it and fought it and fought it. But finally, the numbers said that here in what? October, November, December, license sales did what? Phew, went straight down because no one's going to buy a yearly license and only have a month to go. So reality is they were losing money as an agency, as a business, because people weren't buying the licenses. But they had to transition. So the first year, they had to adjust and not spend that money ahead of time. Once they did, now they actually have more money coming in through the whole year. But that's why. And
Makes sense.
that's why it all happened. Now all our tags will soon be the same way, But hopefully we get to the electronic part. Hopefully we get to this, it's freezing cold and it's raining and we got to pull out this card and try to mark it. And is it right? Is it wrong? Whatever. Hopefully it comes to the electronic, everything's marked done that way, like other states. But we'll get there. Again, this is a positive. But that's where it all came from. But Steve, and then I had input on writing that with Steve and going to Fish and Game commissions and speaking in front of the commission, stating how important this would be, because we go in November and you're like, yeah, okay, you want to go steelhead fishing. You got to buy a license and you got to buy a steelhead tag. Well, everyone was like, well, I'm only going to use it that one time to go guiding. So we're getting less people going fishing with us too, as guides. So it was hurting our business. So then they didn't even look at it that way. I go, you're affecting, the economy. You got to look at the whole economy as a whole, not just your flux of money on January 1. So anyway, it's happened now and it will get better over time, and it has slowly. But so that's how that all came about. Back to steelhead fishing on the Feather. It's still been really good. What an awesome year. Lots of fish to be caught. And if you like steelhead, it's a good place to go. So that bedrock place, fly fishermen, little single egg patterns, glow bugs, your beads, soft eggs, all those combinations, anything that looks like a little egg, work good. And then anything in the olive nymphal stage, pupa, caddis pupa, in like a 14, 12, such what works awesome. Now, sometimes early on, those fish can be very aggressive. And I talked about catching one on a Cleo. A Cleo is a little spoon for people that don't know. You look it up, little Cleo, awesome little spoon for steelhead. But they have a fly that mimics a baby salmon. And it's got a little egg yolk on the front. So it's this little minnow-looking fly, about yay long, about 1.5 inches long or so. And it's got a little orange on the front. We use a little bit of glow bug yarn. And it looks like a baby salmon hatching out of the egg. You can cast that on a fly rod and swing it. If you guys know about swinging, the grab is awesome. When they grab it on, they don't just, it's not like, oh, the indicator went under, I got one. No, it jolts it. You got to use a heavy tippet so you don't bust them off on the strike.
Right.
So the strike's cool. So that's a lot of fun to fish. And there's a few guys that fish those out there, old school type, and we'll still get them to grab. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so that fishing's fun. I love fishing those little streamers. So there's all kinds of opportunity to fish down there. That's January 1. The rest of the river's open all the way through. So that's cool. And, lots of salmon. Let's talk about the salmon a little bit. There's going to be rules coming up here pretty soon and they're in meetings and different commissions, and everyone together are talking about what to do with salmon for next year. So we'll see. Stay tuned with that. And there's going to be some cool stuff happening that I'm hearing from down the pipeline from a little bird, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Very nice.
So we're excited about that. So what else we got going on? We got Christmas coming up.
Yes, we do.
We are planning on having this podcast on Christmas on Christmas evening. We'll see if it works out. We're planning on it. We'll see if we got service. I was in Idaho and it worked. We were at Thanksgiving and we did it. And so, if they can have a football game on Thanksgiving, we can do our podcast. If Santa Claus can come down everybody's chimney on Christmas, we can sure have a podcast. So I don't see why not. And the steelhead we'll start talking about coastal steelhead. The Trinity River is still doing really good. My buddy over there, Justin Thompson, he's catching lots of fish over there. And I know the guides over there, Big Nate's on Berryessa, catching limits of fish every day. Trout, that's pretty awesome. And then you've got Cal over there, Kellogg, and he's catching limits of fish over there on Collins Lake. So that's going pretty good. So if you want to do some fishing right now for some big trout. Hook up with those guys. And the salmon, coastal salmon's just about done. It's pretty well over. It's just about finished up now. It was an amazing season. And look for 2026 to be absolutely phenomenal for salmon, depending on what they do for regulations. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And can't forget about Kyle Weiss doing Maloney's, and I know he's bouncing back and forth between the Delta and Maloney's, and
And we haven't even got to the Delta yet. Yeah, no, I wasn't finished there yet. But Miss Wise is over there. Guys are catching them. Guys are jigging. Guys are catching tons of stripers. You went out there fishing. Joey's catching. Gomez is catching them. All the guys who are fishing right now are catching. So if you want to go out with a guide and catch some fish, head out with them, and they'll take care of you. They'll take care of you on the water. Yeah, they're catching sturgeon, stripers, everything. And you know what else is coming up? The International Sportsman's Expo show at Sacramento, ISE, International Sportsman's Expo at Cal Expo over there. And that's right on Exposition Boulevard. Check that out. We've got seminars going on over there. We've got all kinds of guys doing seminars on stripers, sturgeon, trout. I'm doing one on trophy kokanee. Kokanee. That didn't sound quite right. I was in between the trout and kokanee. So kokanee. That's what I was looking for there. Kokanee. And it'll be good. There'll be a lot of people there. Saturday at noon, so you can duck hunt until about 10 o'clock, and then grab your birds and head on out, and then come and check out our seminar there. Everyone there will get free stuff. We're going to give away all kinds of cool things. We're going to talk about catching them, bigger fish, cooking them, tackle. All I got is 45 minutes. That's it. So we're going to fly through what I can do and go over everything, make sure everyone has a good time. And there'll be deals at the ISC show. Now, when I was a kid, we always went to the show hoping you get deals on tackle, 2-for-1s, $1 swim baits, unheard of. We'll have those too. And then, buy a rod, get one free. Maybe buy one rod, get two free. So may just bump the computer. What are you doing? Anyway, there's going to be some deals, and
you've got some new baits coming out, right?
Oh yeah, we got some new baits coming out. Yes, we do, and we've got we're working on it so far with Warren Fredrickson. We have the kokanee candy coming out. Kokanee candy is coming out, and he's been working on this stuff since the 90s of kokanee fishing. He's got it dialed in. We're going to now share it with you, all of you, and you're going to be able to purchase it there for deals. So it's going to be an awesome show. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, we're going to have some new rods. You want some trout rods to go trout fishing in the spring? Man, I got the new ones coming. So that'll be really cool. We'll have all our striper rods, our striper trolling rods. If you're into striper fishing, the California Striped Bass Association is having a big dinner. Check them out. Join them. Come show up. You'll have a chance of winning a free rod and a lot of tackle that we'll have there. We'll do a seminar there on Wednesday, and I believe that's the 14th, January 14th. And Stoney, you'll be my guest there, and you get to hang out, and we got hats and shirts and T-shirts, and man, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to emphasize on fun. A lot of this stuff will be given away for cost. It's not going to be a huge barn burner financially money-making thing. But I want to be there and shake hands and give people deals and give rods away and give people stuff to go fishing with and encourage them and be excited about it and be influencing people and young people into getting in the outdoors more. So it's going to be fun, and that's what I'm shooting for. Do we have to make money to pay for the booth space? Yeah, we do. Have to make some. Pay for the product? Sure. But, no, this isn't our livelihood. We're not making it at this. So we're going to be giving away some deals. My point is, of all that, You come to the ISE show, you're going to get some screaming deals you won't get anywhere else.
And that's the point of why you go to a show. You want to
Yeah,
get deals.
you want the
Um,
deals. You want to see the new stuff. You want to have fun. You want to see your old buddies. You want to drink some. You want to see the 49ers win. I mean, everything about it, that's what you want.
yeah.
So
And I'll be
that's what,
looking for a new boat. So
are you going to be looking for a new boat, huh?
that's on my mind. I've been looking
Right.
for a while, but it's. I think we're getting closer, and I
Those,
may have to
those,
do that. I don't know. We'll
those are
see.
expensive. You got to get Anthony to go halves on one.
We've been talking, so we'll see. We got some stuff working.
Anthony goes half on one. Anthony, if you're listening, and then you go halves with Stony, and then I'll drive it. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So it'll be all a good time. They've got lots of cool boats there, lots of cool stuff, lots of things lots of things for sale. So check that out for sure. Yeah, the IC show. It's fun. It's fun. That's what we're doing. We're catching fish. We're talking hunting. It's actually supposed to be fun. You know. So fifth place, huh? Out of like 40 teams.
Fifth place,
Stony,
but do you know what might
good.
have made the difference
That's
is
pretty good.
if I would have had the Kickamapow catfish brine that you got coming out,
The
I
Kick
might.
of a Cow will be out at the ISC show too.
There you
So
go.
yeah, we got the stickers for the bottles. I have all the ingredients, and that's going to be a cool thing coming out. So it's yeah, that Kick of a Cow. So if there is something to catfish and selling, and checking out things, that works out pretty good. For sure, for sure. Um, how's this? Is it foggy down in the Delta? Has anybody been down there lately?
We went not last weekend, the weekend before, and it was foggy.
Yeah,
This whole valley has been foggy. I'm out in the Sacramento area, and I don't think we've seen the sun in 2 weeks. It's
yeah,
just been completely fogged in every day.
that's crazy. Birds are moving around and fish are moving around. So be careful out there. Be careful out there driving because
Yeah, we
the sun's not popping out. The sun is not popping out.
Now for our tournament last week, we left the Airbnb in the dark on the water, and I'm like, there was no fog in the little slough where the Airbnb is. As soon as we got into the main body of the lake, we went, where did all this fog come from? You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. We have a time limit to get to check in, and we're trying to get across in the dark with the fog, using our navigation to get us going, and it was like there was guys that got lost. I mean, my buddy Darren was following me, and he ended up his lights disappeared. And I was like trying to get a hold of him. He's trying to get a hold of me, and he's doing circles. He can't figure out where to go.
Dude, that
And
fog will mess you
oh
up,
yeah,
man. It will mess you. You have no landmarks to look at. All of a sudden, you're like, I don't know where I'm at, you
yeah,
know. And in my mind, I map it all out. When I drive, now you can't do this on the lake, but on the rivers, I always connect the dots. So how
yes,
I mean, when you're a kid, you got the little coloring book and you connect the
yeah,
dots. Well, on this hole, you connect the dot from the fallen tree to the big rock,
yep,
and then when you see the big rock, then you head down, to the old car that's half in the water, and then you go down to the next riffle, and then you stay 10 foot, and you make it so you connect the dots. You go straight, because if you weave through, you'll never get it the same every time. So that's and I'll do that at some of the lakes and stuff too. But I know in the Delta, there were times I had to get down to Antioch, and I was all the way up. I mean, I was all the way up by Brandon Island and stuff. And I'm like, man, and you can't see nothing. And I know where it's at. In my mind, I'm like, the two pillars, are coming up. They're coming up. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? And then finally, because you're going fast, it just comes up on you right away. And then boom, there they are. Okay, now I got to make a right. Okay, now I got to go, until I hit buoy number 47. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? It's got to be here. But you go slower when you're in the fog than you do when it's wide open. You also don't see it as fast.
right.
So when you see it in the open, you've already seen it. You already know you're cruising the right direction. You're in the fog. You're like, I know it's there, but I can't see it. So you get a little anxiety. And then you look at your chart, on your navigation, and you know that you're still, a mile from buoy 47, but it's coming up. But you got to be careful. of other boats too, that you don't run into things. So
Yeah.
it's always challenging for sure.
And even
Oh
with the nav, right? I mean,
yeah,
I have waypoints. I've got tracks, and it's uneasy when you're basically flying blind, depending on your electronics and what you can see, which isn't very much. To your point, don't hit a log, don't hit a boat, don't run ashore, or your nav's off or whatever, and it didn't catch up to your turns, and all of a sudden there's a mountain in front of you, and you're like,
yeah. A rock pile does not care if your nav works or it doesn't.
exactly.
And if your nav goes out, and we all run by it. I mean, I run by it. I mean, I live by it sometimes. If I didn't have it, I mean, there were times I'd go out in the ocean. Those ocean guys, they don't, I mean, they live by their navigational,
Yeah.
and it works fine. And they come back in, but, they say when it's foggy, you're supposed to be able to, you know, look at the stars and do this and do that, coming in, but it works fine. But it is an uneasy feeling if your electronics don't work and you're out there and you're like, now what? And what I do, I try to get to where I can see something. I go towards shore
Right.
because I've been on there before. At least I know, okay, that shoreline is going to take me somewhere. And at least I'm not doing circles. You stay out in the middle and say, no, I swear it's this way. I feel that it's this way. You're going to go in circles and S turns and zigzag all over out there.
And that's a good point, and that's pretty much what I did. Is I knew kind of where I needed to go. I follow my nav, but I was definitely looking for lights on the shore and going, okay, I know the shoreline's here. I'm this far off the shore, and just kind of follow this. I know it's gonna kind of take me where I need to go, and we got there safely, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
well, good job. Good job on that. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. A lot of fishing going on. Man, just a lot of good times. A lot of guys are duck hunting right now, killing a lot of ducks. The fishing's going good. Um, everybody's in good spirits. Christmas is coming up. New Year's is coming up. We're at that point. We're at that feel good time of year where we're excited about what's coming up for the new year, yet we're kind of reminiscing about, what happened. One of the things that had happened is this podcast, and we wouldn't be doing this without everybody else there. So
Yeah.
we'll have a quick report on Saturday morning on SEPs. I think we'll be on air about 6:20 or so this Saturday.
Okay.
That's KHTK 1140 about what's going on, what we've been doing. We'll be just talking about steelhead fishing a little bit. It's only about 3 to 5 minutes long, but yeah, we got lots of cool stuff. I can't wait to show all of you the new kokanee rods. I know some of you have them. We've got lots of deals going on, but remember, if you're a tackle store and you want some of our tackle in there, we're in over. I think we just reached over 60 stores now in different places. But if you want some of the tackle in there, I mean, it's great margins. It sells. We sell you stuff that works for the area. You can go online and, man, you hit the drop down, put in your wholesale information, get everything at wholesale price, and so we'll just ship it right to you. A lot of stores are doing that, getting what they need, and get what they need to sell, and it works out pretty good. So a
Yeah.
lot of guys are ordering swim baits and plugs, and from the Delta and things, big orders from down there. So you guys are more than welcome to do that. And then I'm going to let a little kind of, there'll be a super big swim bait sale at ISE. We're planning on wheeling our whole swim bait wall there. That's the plan. We'll see if it happens. Talk is cheap, but I want to let people know ahead of time. You can load up on some swim baits for half, maybe even a quarter of the cost anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to look good doing all this stuff, go to my online store at oldfartsfishing.com. There's shirts and hats, and there's some Kevin Brock stuff. There's some mugs. There's a few different things from bass fishing to sturgeon to all kinds of stuff from hoodies to shirt. And just go check it out. And I think you still have time to order stuff and get it by Christmas. We're running, the clock is ticking, but go get your online stuff there.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I ordered.
should,
We got the new K Brock hats. Those are out there and pretty awesome.
so how'd that come out? You like it? Come out all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I like it a lot. This is a good one. Um, yeah, easy fitting, looks good. It showed up, ordered it, and we had to do a test order, so it
Yeah.
worked out perfect. Showed up at the doorstep and looked good. I know other people are ordering their stuff, and there'll be some of that stuff available to show. And but
Yep.
we got the
And
online.
No, you're still good. One other thing I
Yeah, yeah,
want
for sure.
to let people, when we're getting into wintertime, and if you're not a wintertime fisherman, is now is the time to do your boat maintenance. We had an issue with my trailer that we noticed when we were at Clear Lake, is one of the bunks rotted out, and it was almost falling off, and I was a little concerned bringing the boat home with the bunk. We had to use some duct tape and some
All
Mexican
right.
ingenuity to make sure everything stayed together. But Anthony, Darren, and I are going to be replacing those bunks this weekend and getting everything back in tip top shape. But go through your boat and your trailer. Don't forget your trailer. Bearings, tighten all the nuts, touch everything, feel everything, make sure it's all good so you don't end
Yeah,
up
throw
with an
some
issue.
stable in that fuel, run it a little bit if you can. Uh, you know, our California gas is terrible, 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 terrible. So throw in some stable there, and that'll help you out. Um, you know, put extra in, it's fine, and then
Yep.
check your water fuel separators and all that kind of great stuff, and winterize them up, and then get ready to go.
Yeah,
Because
and
you're
for
right.
us, we don't winterize only because we're fishing every weekend. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter rain, cold. Well, getting older, that cold is getting a little tougher to do, but we're still
Hey,
doing it.
don't tell me about the cold, man. I was in Idaho and it's like 7 degrees out. I can't even feel the ends of my hands. I'm trying to. I caught this big old rainbow and he didn't even hardly fight. He just head shake. Head. The poor thing wanted to eat, but it was so cold he couldn't even hardly fight. So
Yeah. We done a lot of not a lot of comments. We got a few people that have been online, offline. Joe, and I know I was gonna mess his last name up because I suck at. I think it's Joe Molds, Moulds, if that's how you say it. Sorry if I mispronounced it,
I'll
but
just say, hey, Joe M.
hey Joe,
Uh,
he's out there in the
yeah,
Delta say.
thanks, Joe, for being
Yep.
online. I appreciate that.
And Joe, who's out saying the Delta was foggy today, and he actually entered this first catfish tournament that's happening January 10th. He's been watching from afar, and he's actually entered. Dave Mayo just got on, just did my bearings before the bash. Good job, Dave.
There
And
you go.
David and Warren are fishing the bashes too, and they did great this year, first year out. Took first place their very first tournament, and then they struggled a little bit the rest of the year, but they're putting in the work and getting it figured out. So.
Well, fish is a fish, but maybe I'll have to get out there. If I can use live scope, then maybe I'll do it. So,
Well, you got Kevin Chavez loves your swim baits, and Anthony said perfect. It's an older comment, and I think he's saying Kevin, you're perfect. That's why he said perfect.
yeah, well,
Um,
no, he was saying perfect that he was going to split the boat with you, but
oh, that's it. Yeah,
he
he's
said,
gonna split the
right
boat.
on, Anthony, good job, huh? It's just a checkbook. That's all. Write a check out. Perfect, Anthony.
You
So
got
no,
Roy. Roy's
we just
on. He's a regular on there, and then
we just appreciate everybody and everything you do. And I was getting everybody knows, um, who knows me personally. I get infusions, so we're at what 26 times or so a year now, and yesterday and the day before I was getting infused, and one of the nurses there, her husband, and she knew me by name because her husband has been fishing with me for the last 20 some years. And there's the HIPAA and there's, confidentiality, and so no one talks about any of their patients or nothing like that. But he stopped by to bring her, some coffee or something like that. And in between all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, dude, come on in. So we talked about it, and he was going to Clear Lake. And so I talked to him about doing the Clear Lake thing. And it's just, people are watching it. And they said they're going to come to the kokanee seminar
nice.
because, they want that corn. They want to figure it out because, kokanee fishing is right all around us. And it's pretty good. You get, you can go out to Bullard's Bar and catch 20 kokanee for two guys. That's a good haul. And we've got one of those videos
Oh
on
yeah.
Old Farts Fishing that I did with you. We had a blast over there.
Oh yeah.
And so, and I've done a lot of kokanee trips over there, and I'm getting the axe. I'm getting the I'm
I
getting the
know.
I'm getting the cut from the viewing station over here, from the viewing audience is giving me the
I'm
axe.
like, it's top of the hour. It came
We
up quick
we,
today.
we love you all. We thank you all for watching. Let's not forget to give the credit to God, because without Him we wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even have this second chance. Don't forget to go to Old Farts Fishing, like it, check it out. Check out Stoney's podcast every Monday evening. He's got a lot of cool stuff. If you like catfish, check that out, fishkevinbrock.com. Any questions at all, give us a call. We thank you for your support. We'll be at ISE coming up. See us there. If you want tackle, head over to the Tackle Box, Johnson's, and many, many other participating stores who have our tackle.
There you go.
And that's it.
Great.
That's
Thank you.
That's it for now. I'm getting the cut. So,
You're getting the cut.
yeah, I'm a minute long. All right. Love y'all.
All right. See you next week.